Hello, welcome to website programming. My name is Bradley, and I'll be taking you in this course. First and foremost, you're going to learn how to program your own website, create your own pages, and be able also to add the CSS. So the question is, what is the CSS and what is HTML? We're going to start by understanding what HTML stands for. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. This means that it has to do with the text and markup languages. It is a website that you're going to design using hypertext markup language, or you're going to design pages using hypertext markup languages. We spend the first lesson looking at how HTML is used to create web pages. You will see that you start by writing down words. You want to appear on your page. This means that you can start with the words first. You can type the news, the details, the first page, the second page, the entire documentary, or maybe the entire story. Then after that, you now start adding codes. You then add tags or elements to the words, so that the browser knows what is a heading, where a paragraph begins and ends, and so on. Let's look at the paragraphs, the beginning and the end. Also look at the heading. When we talk about the heading, this means that if you're typing a document, then you start with the heading first, then you start talking about the information inside, the titles and the information inside. You may not finish on time and you may make a lot of mistakes. You need to wrap and cancel. But then if you start by typing everything, then you edit afterwards, you will be able to choose what is the heading of that particular document that you're creating, and then you will divide the paragraphs. You put the paragraphs in order. Also, you will choose the beginning of the document and the end of the document. Remember, the first thing before editing is creating documents. That's what we start with. The rest of the section introduces the tags you have at your disposal to create web pages, grouped into chapters on text, lists, links, images, tables, forms, videos, audio, and Flash, and miscellaneous elements. When we talk about text, we know for sure that text is text where you can type text, a text language, where you combine letters like T, H, E to create B. You start with W or R to create a word. So that's text. List could be a number of things. When we talk about a list, it could be a number of things. When we're talking about a list, we're talking about a program, a different kind of program, like you're designing you're prioritizing what's going to come first, what will come second, third, and last. That's a list. It can be a list of pictures, it can be a list of videos. That's a list. Then we'll talk about links. A link is something that I will explain in detail as we go, but then you need to understand that it's something that is connecting you to a different page or a different site. It's a link. That's a link. Images. What is an image? An image actually means a picture. Could be a picture, could be a Word document turned into also a picture. A still photo. You can tap a document, change it into a still photo. That's a picture. Or you can take a photo anywhere. You can pause and get a picture. That's an image. Tables. we understand that tables consist of columns and rows. So we have a number of columns and rows. So long you have columns and rows, that's a table. How about forms? Forms and tables they look similar, but you understand something, that a form can be for registration. It may not have tables, but it's a form. The different kinds of forms. Okay, can have tables, may not have tables, can also be a form. So we can create forms. I'll give an example of a university whereby they have a registration form. Like our university, we have a registration form. All right. So now that registration form that we have, I'll give you two examples. Maybe someone will come and he wants to register for a course. They can come to the office and then fill in that very form, or they can go online on www.wciuniversity.org. The website's going to open, and then click on register, and then when they click on register, a form will come. Now, what do you find in the form? In the form you find name, address, contact, email, locations of that particular person, personal information or company information is entered in a form, age, all those kind of stuff will end them in a form. So whether it's got tables or not, it's a form. In the hospital, you will find forms, different forms. You fill in forms so they can get your details. That's a form. What is a video? A video, it's an animational, what can I say, animational or animational pictures, moving pictures can be called video, because it's streaming. It was taken to stream, like to play. But while there are movements, you have movements, streaming movements, people moving around, something like that. But it's recorded. Okay, could be live or not live. It's still a video. Then we have audio. Audio, it comes from the word sound. It's like a noise, waves. That's where you find the word audio. A wave. A wave, the first thing that we have in sound is a wave. From a wave, we give it a meaning, which is audio. This means that it's audio, it can play. Okay, so it's sound, it's audio, it can play. All right, so the different formats that came up, like MP3, MPG, but all those things fall under the same stuff, which is audio, where they come in video format, but they will have audio on them. All right, so that's exactly what we're going to look at as we go. Like I said earlier, that HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Don't forget that. I should warn you that the examples in the first 9 lessons are not exciting to look at, yet they are the foundation of every web page. The following lessons on CSS will show you how to make your pages look a lot more interesting. CSS, what is it? What is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Cascading Style Sheet. To cascade means to arrange from the top to the bottom, not in a vertical line, could be diagonal, but that's cascading. Cascading means to see everything in a clear picture. If you want to work on different documents or different pages, you're going to have to cascade them and then start seeing this one, that one, and this one, like that. That's the word cascading. Styles actually mean to add effects like words, like colors, like effects, moving motion pictures, or effects or words, animations. Then styles, sheets, I mean the page. A sheet is a page, like whether blank or not blank, it's a sheet. So I'm going to explain more about CSS, but for now I'd like us to focus on HTML only before we talk about the CSS. Let's look at how people access the web. I'm sure you have ideas, but I want you to focus on this part. Before we look at the code used to build websites, it is important to consider the different ways in which people access the web and clarify some terminologies. Number one, we're going to look at the browser. What is a browser? A lot of people give examples of the browser to be a website as well, like a browser. People access websites using software called a web browser. Now, I want you to focus on this word right here, software. This means it's designed to do certain things. It is not an address, it's not a website, but it's like a website. It's a program, a software designed to operate like a website, to read or to access the websites, different websites. But this type of a software is advanced software that's designed only to browse or to log in or to search, or like a search engine for a particular site or all the sites that you may need to find. Examples I'm going to give you are Firefox. These are Firefox. You can research what a Firefox is. This is our Firefox software designed. Then Internet Explorer is an application utility as well. An application. You can also search for it or Google it on Google or research or what it is. What's the Internet Explorer. We've got also Safari. Maybe you heard about it. Safari. It's also a browser. It's a software that was designed to access websites or search websites. We have also what we call Chrome. This Chrome was designed by Google, so it's called a Google Chrome. It's also a software designed by Google. Then we have Opera Mini. Sure, you know about Opera Mini. Most of you got phones and you have this Opera Mini in your phones. It's also a software that's going to operate like a website, but it's not a website. It's a software that's going to launch different types of websites if you want to use it to get those websites. In order to view a web page, users might type a web address into their browser, follow a link from another site, or use a bookmark. To bookmark means to record the kind of site that you want to be looking at. But then let's look at the browser, follow a link from another site. Now look at the word address. So we're saying that a website is an address, a location. We talk about an address, talking about a location. All right. So if it's there on the site, we're going to follow that location of that particular address, okay, into their browser. So we're going to use a software called browser to locate. But now, if I don't have this address, I cannot log in or search it. I need to have the address. The same thing, if you don't have my house address, you cannot come to my house because you don't know where to find me. The same thing, if you don't have my phone number, you cannot call me. We can talk because you can locate me. You don't have my number. The same thing, you don't have a web address, you cannot find a particular company or their details on whatever business where they're found if you don't have their address. So a website, it is an address for a particular institution or person. They also have links. Links could be directions. I'll give you this kind of example. Like a direction. If you go right, if you go on the right, you will find a date track on the rocks. And after that, you will also find a yellow house. You see, that's a link. So as you walk in looking for a certain place you're looking for, you'll remember the person that gave you directions and how he gave them to you. So he told you where to turn right and what you're going to find when you turn right. So you will only know that you're going to the right place if you follow the links that you've given. You've been given a link. I think that's the example I can manage to give you for now. Software manufacturers regularly release new versions of browsers with new features and supporting new additions to languages. Programmers of softwares, they come up with different types of amazing additions like updates. They update their website. I mean, not only their website, they update their programs, their softwares. Before I go in detail, I want you to understand that there are two types of softwares that are, I'll say the different types of softwares, but I'm going to show you how they operate. There are two ways. They operate in two ways. Some websites, they don't need the internet to operate. You can install that website. Some softwares don't need the internet to operate. You can install the website in the computer or phone without the internet. Okay, software can go. All you're gonna need is a product key for that particular software, because you bought it and then you put it in the computer and you're gonna use it like that. And again, another type works only online. The software is working online. So the web browsers, you can install them without the internet. Some of the web browser softwares can be installed in a computer or laptop or phone without the internet. But then these are online softwares. They're not going to work without the internet because they're designed to work with the internet. You see that? But they can be installed in a phone without the internet because they are like packages. It is important, however, to remember that many computer owners will not be running the latest versions of these browsers because they don't know exactly what the owners of the browsers would do tomorrow or after tomorrow or in 2 years or in a year. So if I buy a browser software right now, a version, let me say a 2021 version or 2020 third version or 2019 version, okay, if I put it in the computer, it will work at that moment. But when the owners of that browser adds a feature or upgrade the software, which means adding a feature which is not there, it means that my website, my program, and the software which I bought from them is outdated. Okay, but then when I have it in the computer and I connect to the internet, it's gonna have to upgrade itself automatically to pick what is not there online. Therefore, you cannot rely on all visitors to your site being able to use the latest functionality offered in all browsers. All right, thank you very much for paying attention. I want to continue the next lesson as we go. All the best.